friends, welcome to or welcome back to the channel Jane Reads. My name is Jeanette, and today I am going to do a walkthrough of what my reading spreadsheet looks like and my TBR spreadsheet. Yes, they are two separate log spreadsheets. I actually have a third spreadsheet just for series, but I'm not going to go through that one today. I will do that at a later point in time. Hopefully this format works for me. What I'm trying to figure out to do to record my screen and record myself to talk you through it. We will see how this goes. So as I said, I have two main spreadsheets. I have my TBR spreadsheet and I have my reading log spreadsheet. I'm going to walk you through my 2026 spreadsheet. This has evolved over the years. I've had a very basic spreadsheet for a number of years. And then as I've seen other people's spreadsheets, I kind of update mine, change things, and this is where we're at as of today. It is a little bit different even from 2024. I think 2025 I kept it the same, and now, but it's evolved over the last couple of years. Because it's evolved through different inspiration from different people, I can't give like exactly who I was inspired by for different aspects. But this is what it looks like today. So I'm going to try to shrink myself down to the corner and then do a walkthrough of the spreadsheet. Okay, so I use Excel. I should have said that. I have used Excel for years. It is what I'm familiar with. It's what I've used for work for years, so that I use it personally. Okay. I have the first tab is categories. So these all work for drop down list later on another sheet. So the first drop down is series or standalone. Is the book part of a series? Is it a standalone or is it part of a companion series? Then where does it fit in the series? Is it the start of a series, a sequel to the series, or does it finish the series for series N? Then I have a genre. So I have a bunch of different genres that I tend to read. If one isn't here, I will just insert it, or I won't. I read a fantasy and I haven't added it, so we'll see what happens. Then I have type. So was it an ARC I received? Did I borrow it from somebody? Was it a combination of a physical book and an audiobook, or did I get it in multiple places? More, that's really, did I get it? Do I own it? And did I borrow it from somewhere? Really? Then KU is Kindle Unlimited, or own is I own the book. Then we have format. So was it an audiobook? Was it a combination? Did I read and listen to the book? Was it on my Kindle? So an ebook. Did I read it physically and on my Kindle? So was I able to switch between physical and ebook? Or was it a physical read? And then I have settings. So NA is like your nonfiction, or sometimes I will use that. There's just too many settings to record, like my cruise ship book I read recently. It was in the middle of the ocean somewhere. The fantasy book I put in NA, for example. So we'll see. Then I have a bunch of countries. Then I have all the Canadian provinces. Then I have all the American states. And again, if there is some setting that I have read in a book that I don't have here already, I will just insert it here and it will automatically add to my drop-down menu on the other sheet. Then I've got month, so January to December. Then rating 1 to 5, a reread, yes or no. Do I own it? Yes, no, or it was an ARC. This will be an e-ARC because if I own it physically, I will put yes. Then year acquired. So a reread is for any books that are rereads for me because I've already recorded the actual purchase date at some other point in time. Then I've got from 2026 down to 2012 because 2012 is when I started recording my books, when I purchased them. As I said, I've been doing this for a number of years. And then I have unknown because, I don't know when I got it. So most likely I purchased it before 2012. Then I have borrowed from. I borrowed it from Audible when I had my Audible subscription. I borrowed it from Audible and the library. So I borrowed the audiobook and I borrowed the physical book. I got it from our church library. I borrowed it from a friend. I borrowed it through Hoopla, through KU. Again, KU and Audible as if I read it and listened to it. And then Libby and Public Library. And then the last category is a publication breakdown. A new release, meaning came out in 2026. Last year it came out in 2025, or it came out pre-2025, so 2024 or earlier. Then the next tab I have is 2026 purchases. So I will add what month did I acquire the book, the title of the book, the author. If it's part of a series, I'll put the series name and the number here. Release date, when did it come out or when is it coming out? When did I acquire it? What format do I get it? Do I have it in physical Kindle? And any notes. So these two examples were ARCs from Baker. These are from NetGalley, and this one I got from Amazon. And you will see I have not spent any money on books yet this year. I'm very happy to say that because I'm trying to reduce my TBR. And then once I've read the book, if I've read the book in 2026, I do not go back into previous years to mark this. It's only for this year acquired books. I will go and mark that I have read it. So I have read Whiteout at this point in time. Then my next tab is my 2026 log. So this is the main tab. So the categories I have here are title, author, series name, series. So is it a series or is it standalone? Where does it fit in the series if it is a series? Who is the publisher, the genre, the release date, the publication breakdown. So these are the ones that are drop-down options. Same with the genres are drop-down options. Then how many pages was the book? What date did I finish it? What month did I read it in? This helps for tracking the stats on the next few tabs. Then what rating did I give it? Where was this book set? Okay, source. Let's move on. Okay, so we got source. This is where was it an ARC? Did I borrow it? Was it multiple sources? Was it from KU or do I own it? Then format read is how did I read it? So this book, for example, I owned the physical copy. I read the physical copy. This book, I combo. So that means I owned it and I borrowed it from somewhere. And why did I do that? Because I read and listened to the book. So I read it physically and listened to it. Then, was it a reread for me? Yes or no? Do I own the book? Yes or no? And what form? If this is a yes, then it goes to the format owned. Is it a physical own or a Kindle own? And if I own it, what year did I get it? Then if I borrowed it, so this is a combo, which means I borrowed it most likely from somewhere, most likely. So this one I borrowed from Hoopla. Then my next categories are unhaul. So if I read it, am I going to unhaul it this year? So then I check off this box that I say, yes, I'm going to. Then, was it a new to me author? I check off the box if, yes, it was a new to me author. Then my notes, just whatever I need to know about this. So the prime example is Following the Trail was in the Desperate Search bind up because it said 2 books in one, and I only read book 1 right now. This other one is because it was 2 authors on the book. So on the author column, I just have multiple authors because I can't track both of their names in here for it to work correctly going forward on some of the other tabs. Okay, now we move on to our monthly stats tab. So there is one of these for every month, January, February, March, so on to all the way to December. And here, this is where that information transfers from this sheet. This is why I record what month I read it and not just the date, because then it knows to take anything that says January, it knows to take it and put it in here. So I read 12 books in January, 3,600 pages. The average book was 299 pages. My most read genre was historical romance. I had 1 reread, but I did not read any new to me author. Then it breaks down the star rating and gives me the average star rating for the month. I had a pretty good January with 5 5-star books. Then publication breakdown. Were they new books, like relatively new, or were they backlist books? Most of them were backlist. Most of my books tend to be backlist. Then format, how did I read them? And then series breakdown. So I started 2 series. I read 3 sequels. I did not complete any series. I read 5 standalones, and I read 2 companions. So that is like the Doors to the Past series, for example, are companions by multiple authors, but they don't connect. So that's why I consider them companions, not series. However, they are on my series spreadsheet. But okay, and then acquired. How did I get the books? So I read 5 books that I owned. 3 of them are maybe I own them and I borrowed them from somewhere. 3 I completely borrowed, and 1 was an ARC. Then owned books. So 9 of my books that I read were owned. So that means most likely my borrowed and comboed are books I'd owned. Then 2 of them I did not own. I only borrowed them, and 1 ARC. And then this is my genre breakdown. So this does not sort alphabetically, which kind of bothers me a little bit, but that's okay. It fills it out based on when I enter, like the first ones here. So when I go to my 2026, the first genre is historical romance, then romantic suspense, then dual timeline, right? So that's how it fills out there. Then it has that for every single month. Then I have a tab for quarterly stats. So there's 4 columns. January, February, March is the first quarter. So then it combines the books. So far I've read 19 books this year, and total pages read of 5,800. Average book count is 306 pages. And my most read genre so far is romantic suspense. I have reread 3 books. So you see that I only reread 1 in January. So that means I reread 2 in February, which you can see there. And I read 2 new authors in February. Then my star rating, publication breakdown. Again, my backlist is still higher than the others. It will stay that way the whole year. Then it just exact same thing, format breakdown, series breakdown. I have completed a series now though. Then again, genres. So you'll see that the genre is still the same order as it was because it as January, right? Okay, then I've got yearly stats. Then this just takes all the information and combines it all. So right now, this is the same as what my quarterly stats looks like because we only have 2 months right now. Exact same thing here, but this page has a lot more information on it. As you can see, it's got all my genres broken down. So I get my genre graph here. Then I've got like, were they first time reads or were they rereads? So majority of my books are first time reads, 16 of them compared to 3 rereads. Then series breakdown. You see I've completed 1 little series. Well, maybe not so little, but I've completed a series. Read 7 standalones. I have started 3 series. Probably not great, but that's okay. But 74% of my books were owned books. Then I've got my years acquired. When did I acquire the book? So I've read 1 from 2026. I've read 3 from 2025. I've read 7 from 2024 and 1 from 2016. And then the 3 rereads. Oh yeah, because never mind. I was going to say this should add up, but no, it doesn't because I borrowed some books. Okay, and then, so that's the graph for that. So you can see majority of my books are from 2024 so far. Then I've got my purchased acquired books for 2026. So I've hauled 10 books in January. 8 of them were on my Kindle, 2 of them were physical, and 1 of them I have read already this year. I've got 1 in February, and it was a Kindle book. So I've added 11 books to my TBR. 9 of them are Kindle, 2 of them are physical. I've read 1, so that means I've added 10 books to my TBR so far this year. I have decided to unhaul 3 books, and 2 of my authors are new to me authors. And then if we come over here, we've got settings. So this is where I list all the settings. Now this just lists every single setting that's on my categories tab. It does not sort it out. So I just have to kind of go through here and see, right now my most read setting is Colorado with 2 books. Yes, it is the only one. And this number should match with my total books read if I've filled it out correctly. I mean, if it doesn't, it means I haven't added a setting for something. And then authors breakdown. So then it sorts by authors. Now again, this list compiles as I add authors to my 2026 tab. So it's fine. I can deal with it. So I've got 2 Elizabeth Camden, 2 Lynette Eason, and 2 Sarah Sundin so far. And I have read, so I just highlight how many, and it tells me down here, I have read 16 authors so far, and 2 of them have been new to me authors. So that's not bad, I think. Then my last tab is my 26 and 26 picked by Andrew and Christine. So I have the book number or the book title, the author, if it's part of a series, then who picked it, Andrew or Christine, and is it part of my 5-star predictions video. Then if it's highlighted in green, it means I've read it already. Now, I was going to put the bingo numbers here once I've scratched the card and find out the number, but I have not done that, as you can see. And then this book is down here because I need to read this book, which is book number 2 of the Annie Pedersen series, before I can read this book up here. That is book 3 in the Annie Pedersen. So I need to read this to complete my bingo board. Then below, I have the 16 rereads that I want to reread this year that are on my bingo board. This is not a bingo board. I'm constantly messing it up because it's been a bingo board for so many years. So then 2026 rereads. So I just have them listed. These are listed in author again. Yeah. And then again, same series. And again, 2 highlighted because I've read 2 so far. Now, my TBR spreadsheet. So this is my TBR spreadsheet. Let's enlarge you a little bit. And again, I have, just like the other one, I have categories for drop down. Then in my main spreadsheet, so I have title, author, series or standalone, publisher, genre, release date, source. So do I own it or do I know somewhere it is available? Do I know somewhere where audio is available? Sometimes I have to search. Sometimes I've already filled this out because I found it somewhere and I've tagged it in that library app. Format owned. So if I own it, do I own it physically or on my Kindle? What date did I acquire it if I own it? And then any notes. This column is a little bit messy. I probably could tidy this up, but it's just. Then you will see right now this is sorted by author's last name, but I can switch this up and I can sort any of these categories. So, but you will see that I have some that are marked purple, some that are orange, and some that are just white. Basically purple, purple is I own the book for sure. I either own it physically or on my Kindle. So I can easily get a copy of it because I own it. The orange are my 26 and 26. So you'll see down here, they all have 26 beside them. So those are kind of my priority reads for the year. And then white is just books I'm interested in. Sometimes they might have a mark for the source of where I can get them from, and sometimes they don't because I haven't looked yet. I don't know. Or they're an anticipated release because that's one of my notes column. If I've talked about them in anticipated release video, then it is marked as an anticipated release here. I do have another spreadsheet just to track my anticipated releases. Maybe I should show you that. We'll see. So then that's just as I go down. The only other color I have is blue. This means it's a borrowed book. And then over here I have who I borrowed it from. Why could I not come up with that word? Then I also have like this book, for example, The Bitter End Birding Society is a gift from Anne in Search of Wonder. So I have them comment that it was gifted from, I think the other one is up here. Yeah, right, gift from Christy. So that is the way it is. And then if it's part of the collection, I've got that note here. So I'm like not searching for, I can just search for the book, not for that particular book. Yeah, so this, and then when I read, like when I finish a book and I want to move it on to this, and I want to move it on to my red spreadsheet, I can just find the book here. So right now I am currently reading Evidence of Mercy by Terry Blackstock. So I can just copy this. I don't copy the whole line because some of these columns are a little bit different because I don't have red stuff on this one, on the TBR list, but I can just copy what I need, like some of the information I need. So title, author, series. So I can copy it, I can paste it in here, and then I could have, so this starts another series. Why not? Then genre or publisher, genre, and release date can just be copied over here. And then this is the stuff I would have to fill out. Now, if this is a reread for me, but if this was a new book, instead of having reread here, it would have a date like these ones above do. And that's where I would get the information to enter in this last column, like a year acquired. So this one is a reread, but if it, say I got it in 2019, so that's where I would put that. I'm not going to fill out the rest of this right now because I haven't finished this book and I need to read it first. But once I have everything in here, which, I mean, I have the basic stuff I need, so then I would unhighlight that column row, and I would delete it from here because I don't want to reread it right now. If I'm looking at like rereading a book later, I will add it back in here and just add reread, but I don't want to reread it this year, right? So that is my TBR list, and that is my reading spreadsheet. So let me see if I can find my anticipated. Okay, so here is my anticipated read spreadsheet. So I've got tabs for 2022, 23, 24, 25, and 26. So basically when I started my YouTube channel and started doing anticipated releases videos. So up here, I have kind of a cheat sheet for my colors. And so the quarter break, so that means these are January, February, March books, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Obviously I don't have anything there yet. This is 2026. And so, I mean, really, it doesn't need to have these ones in here because there's no way I'm going to read one of these books in one of these years. But because it's copied over from previous years, that's just the way it is. Again, I have title, author, series, publisher, genre, release date. And if I have it as an ARC, I will mark ARC beside it. So as you can see, I've not done very good because I have red whiteout. That is not the right color. That is the right color. Okay. Let's try that again. There we go. And I have red witness protection. There we go. Okay. So that's 2026. So then 2025, have I read anything on here? I don't think so. So then you'll see, oh yeah, I've already marked it, the one. Okay. So you'll see, so these are all the books that came in. I talked about in 2025 were anticipated releases for me, and the ones, oh, I have read this one, Dear Miss Lake. No, I haven't. It's Mrs. Porter Calling that I've read, not Dear Miss Lake. Shoot. So yeah, that is that. And again, so I mean, 2023 is completely full. So that is what my spreadsheets look like. Let's go back to the other camera. So those are the main spreadsheets I use other than my series spreadsheet, which I will show you at another point in time because I will go through all the series on that spreadsheet in the future, probably not that far away. So stay tuned for that video. But this spreadsheet, the 2026 book log, is where I get all my stats of how many books I've read, how many pages have I read, and what was my average length of book, what was my average rating for the month. All that information comes from this spreadsheet. So hopefully that's kind of inspired you to track your reading on your computer if you want to. You don't have to. This just is what works for me. I have this along with my reading journal, but this automatically calculates most of the stats for me, so I don't have to manually count as I'm going through. But yeah, so if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I will try to answer as best as I can and help you out. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video today, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.